It's 9 o'clock. It is the 13th day of February 2021. 24 hours for you to get me a Valentine present because I am the humbug in the bug. The OGGM with the Grump of the week. It's that time again where I sit on my porch and yell at you kids to get off my lawn because in my day. What a grumpy week it has been. Just, wow. I mean, we thought 2021 was going to be better, but no. Every day, every minute, I look at the news and another thing, either geek, pop culture related, or just world related, hits you over the head like a skillet and you just don't know how to process. You're still processing one bit of just mind-boggling ugliness, and another bit of mind-boggling ugliness just comes across. Is COVID to blame? Have we just been locked in for a year now? So now we are just lashing out at everything. So the two major pop culture related stories of this week, of course, are what's going on with the set of The Mandalorian and Gina being terminated, and the Josh Whedon accusations coming forward, and the plethora of Josh Whedon accusations coming forward, and the fact that all these people waited 20 years to come forward and say, oh, this happened on the set. And just, if I talk about any of them, I just come across as a hypocrite because I'm a privileged, white, fat, bald, and sort of, I'm disabled, but I'm not physically disabled. If you look at me, you wouldn't know I was disabled. And I'm on the LGBTQ spectrum, but if you look at me, you couldn't tell that. I'm just a privileged fat white guy, so who am I to complain about the situation involving Gina or the situation involving Josh? I'd just be a hypocrite because I'm part of the problem, not the solution. So just obviously it's just two pop culture geek ugly related things that I have no position to speak of, and I shouldn't, because God, it's just, and this death and grief and violence and murder and trials and babies getting killed, it's just, what is there going on in the hobby worth complaining about when the real world is just constantly hitting us over the head with vomit and bile and just non-stop. I mean, I just want to crawl under the covers and hope that 2022 is better, because 2021, so far, you fucking suck. So what can I talk about? Can I talk about the stupid statement that Dragonlance is the Star Wars of Dungeons and Dragons? I guess I should talk about that because that's just inane. So, but, and why is this dude saying this now? Why is this dude now saying Dragonlance is the Star Wars of Dungeons and Dragons? Is it because Dragonlance is now once again safely in the bosom of Wizards of the Coast? So a Wizards of the Coast shill can now say, oh yes, Dragonlance is so important to D&D. Why didn't you say this 5 days ago, 10 days ago, before the lawsuit was settled and a ton of money was offered to Margaret and Tracy to stay within the confines of the Wizards of the Coast? Where were you a year ago when this first came to our attention, defending Dragonlance? But now that Dragonlance is safely back in the bosom of Wizards of the Coast, you can come forward and say, oh, Dragonlance is the Star Wars of D&D. It is as influential to our hobby as Star Wars was influential to pop culture. No, it's not. There are still people today who live and die Star Wars. There are still people today who cosplay Star Wars. There are still people today whose lives are motivated and inspired by Star Wars. Darth Vader is still the poster child for the perfect example of lawful evil, and Han Solo is still the perfect poster child of neutral good. I can't tell you the last time I saw anybody bring up Dragonlance in a conversation. If this lawsuit hadn't happened, I wouldn't even be talking about it. It came and went. It was very important at the time, the same way World of Warcraft was important a few years ago, and Critical Role was important a few years ago, because it brought new people to the table. But really, let's look at it. How many people over the years have wanted to role play Luke Skywalker, or bring the Force into Star Wars, or have a villain modeled after Vader? I mean, as late as 1985, 86, there were still people, creating Star Wars spin-off games, bringing the Force, doing homebrew Jedi character creationships. I mean, even to this day, there are people who want to play a Mandalorian in Star Wars. There are people to this day who want to have a character that's just like Rey. There are people to this day who want to bring the mythology of Star Wars into superheroes, D&D, whatever. Dragonlance? When's the last time you heard anybody at any gaming table go, I want a character just like Raceland? The last time it even came up in a conversation that I was a part of was 1990 something. So no. Other than the fact it is a trilogy, and Star Wars is a trilogy, Dragonlance is not the Star Wars of D&D. Star Wars is the Star Wars of D&D, because Star Wars influenced Dungeons & Dragons. And the Sorcerer could be said to be the D&D version of a Jedi. There's plenty of Star Wars-inspired role-playing games. There wasn't even a Dragonlance role-playing game. There was just a Dragonlance book and some modules for D&D. So, yeah, no. Dragonlance is not the Star Wars of Dungeons & Dragons. If anything is the Star Wars of Dungeons & Dragons, it's like Hawk the Slayer, Thundar the Barbarian, Conan, Sword and the Sorcerer. If you want to look at things that weren't part of the genre that brought, influenced the genre, or the genre influenced, that are movies and trilogies, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, the Deathstalker trilogy. Thundar the Barbarian was definitely, the Star Wars of D&D. Black Star, Thundercats, He-Man, Transformers. Sorry. I'm glad that you were influenced by Dragonlance, and Dragonlance was your gateway into D&D, but Dragonlance is not the Star Wars of Dungeons & Dragons, and really you need to sort of get over your weird infatuation with Tiamat, because it's kind of strange. Yeah, that's the best I got this week, and it's really sort of a pathetic grump, because, yeah, I got nothing to complain about with everything that's going on in the world. But I'm gonna get off my lawn, you kids. Anyways, if you appreciate this content and want to see more, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet. Help me hit 500 subs by August 4th. The usual notifications, subscribe, support, comment down below, buy me a coffee. And remember, I will sell out. So I will gladly say Dragonlance is the Star Wars of Dungeons & Dragons, because I'm willing to sell out. Talk to you soon.